Right. So we had the discussion of financial instrument. There we finish accounting of financial asset, financial liability also. Which activity we finish? The last activity. So the financial asset part we finish, but your activity 6 we had no 6 and 7. So basically we have to start the equity instruments and derivatives, right? Okay. So when it's come to equity, now financial instrument, issuer's point of view, it can be financial liability or equity instrument. Holder, investor's point of view, it is financial asset. So we discuss how to account for financial asset, right? Financial asset वलට account කරන්න අපි discuss කරලා තියෙනවා. ඊළඟට අපි කතා කරා from the issuer's perspective accounting for financial liability. Or it can be equity instrument if the issue ordinary shares. So you know that equity instrument is a contract that evidence residual interest in assets after deducting all liabilities. So basically equity equal asset minus liabilities. So we are not going to discuss accounting for share issues here because equity instrument means basically share issue, right? Then basically when it's come to issuer's perspective, how do we present the financial instrument? Certain financial instrument, it is not straightforward to identify whether it's a debt or equity, whether it's a financial liability or equity, like preference shares. Preference shares can be classified as financial liability. Preference shares can be classified as equity. Right. Because of that, how do we determine whether that preference share are classified as equity or liability? You have to consider substance of the contractual agreement. Substance. So when it comes to preference shares, you have to look at the preferences. If it is redeemable preference shares, redeemable means that the issuer agreed to redeem after say 5 years, 10 years, something like that. So then it meets the definition of financial liability because you have a contractual obligation to deliver cash. So it means the definition of financial liability. So we classify it as financial liability. Debt instrument, not equity. But certain preference shares are there, non-redeemable. No other preferences except at the time of liquidation, they will be settled just prior to the ordinary shares. All other aspects, it is equal to ordinary shares. The only preference is the shareholders get priority over the ordinary shares. In that case, it is the substance point of view, it is equity. So the classification of financial instrument as financial liability or equity, you have to consider the substance. Then there's a special type of financial instrument we call compound financial instrument. Normally, when When you take a financial instrument, it is either financial liability or equity instrument to the issue. Right? Issuer's perspective, it is either financial liability or equity. If you take debenture, financial liability. Ordinary shares, equity. Redeemable preference shares, financial liability. Non-redeemable preference shares will be equity. Likewise, normally financial instrument classified either financial liability or equity to the issuer. Compound financial instrument is a special type of financial instrument that contains both liability and equity. Both liability and equity. One financial instrument partly recognized as liability, partly equity. Example, issue the compound financial instrument example is the convertible debenture. Debentures are issued with the convertible option. Right? After 5 years, these debentures are redeemed, not by redeeming cash. After 5 years, debentures will be converted into specific number of ordinary shares. So we can issue financial instrument like that. Then the issuer's point of view has a contractual obligation to deliver another financial asset, not cash. From the investor's point of view, contractual right to receive another financial asset, not equity, not cash. So that also meets the definition of financial asset for the investor. Financial liability basically issuer. But now, when the company issue convertible debenture, similar debenture without convertible option, it is issued for 1 million. Same debenture, if you issued with convertible option, you go in for you issue for 1.2 million. The issue current 1.2 million. So you classify 1 million. If the debenture issued as a 5-year redeemable debenture, usually 1 million. Same debenture we are issuing after 5 years convertible into particular number of shares. Then it's a compound instrument where the 1.2 million charge. Out of that 1 million is the fair value of the debt component. You recognize as financial liability. And the 200,000 we classified as equity. Right? Equity. So ඔතනදී වෙන්නේ when the debentures are issued, normally this is a financial liability debenture. So issuer initially debit cash, credit debenture account 1 million. And credit the balance 200,000 other component of equity. convertible debenture. $200,000. Then you carry forward this balance, right? If there is a difference between coupon interest rate and effective interest rate, this debenture balance will vary, right? Assume that the coupon rate also 15%, effective interest rate also 15%. Then the balance will be same, right? අපි interest ගෙවන්නේ 15, effective interest rate එක විතර ගන්නෙ 15 නම්. වෙනසක් නැහැ 100,000 ම යනවා කියලා හිතමු. Then after 5 years, now you are converting this debenture into ordinary shares. Then what happened? You have here ordinary share capital, stated capital, ordinary shares. So you transfer this into stated capital ordinary share account. 1 million. Stated capital ordinary shares, we don't know that we have a balance here. Then from the financial liability, convertible debentures, you transfer 1 million. Then the other component of equity that also transfer to equity. From other component of equity. Right? So practically there will be a share issue account, temporary accounts. I didn't prepare that, I directly show you the transfer. Right? So this is how it works. Convertible debenture. Right? So this is about convertible debenture. Basically, you should know that convertible debenture from the issuer's perspective has both financial liability and the other component of it. The issue investor ke පැත්තෙන් ඔක තියෙනවා investment in convertible debenture financial asset. එයාට normally the interest එක හම්බ වෙනවා. එයා financial asset එක count කරගෙන යනවා. Then after 5 years, so that when it's become mature, he will get shares. So his investment become investment ordinary shares, right? Right. Then we are moving the next category, derivative. Derivative, special type of financial instrument. The name says derivative. This instrument price derived from something else, so we call it derivative. Now, normally, when you take the shares of, say, shares of John Keel's holding, the market price, the equilibrium price determined based on demand and supply for the share of John Keel's holding. John Keel's lage share එක price එක තියෙන්නේ නෙමෙයි, John Keel's share එකට තියෙන demand එකයි supply එකයි. Gold price in the market is determined based on demand and supply for gold. Oil price is determined based on demand and supply for oil. So normally when you take any type of product, commodity, financial asset, the market price is determined based on demand and supply for that particular instrument or that particular asset. Derivative is a special type of financial instrument. Price of derivative is derived from the price of underlying instrument. They are instrument technical. So from some other asset, when that change, this particular financial instrument change. That's why we call it derivative. So initially derivative having a very small amount of investment. Right? Derivative. So it is going to settle in the future date. Contract එකක් තියෙනවා. To exchange financial asset and financial liabilities between two parties. In the future date, that contract is the derivative. Right? එතනදී අපි derivative ගැන කතා කරද්දී there are 4 types of derivatives. Options, forward contract, future contract, and the swap. So we mainly focus on these options. Right? That is what in Sri Lankan context what we can understand. Right? So these contracts, these derivatives are not very much available in Sri Lankan context. Right? Globally available. Even the options are not. Right? Very rarely we find this. But option is something you can understand. Right? So we'll move to this discussion. Just first look at this. The options are two types. One is call option, other one put option. Right? Call option, put option. We'll first look at the concept of call option. What is meant by this call option type of financial instrument? Here, alpha PLC and beta PLC enter into a contract. Alpha issue 1000 call options to beta. Under this option, holder get right to buy 1000 shares of John Keel's holding at rupees 250 on 31st March 2024. That is the contract. Alpha issue 1000 call options. One option give right to buy one share. 1000 option to buy 1000 shares of John Keel's holding. As if this is issued on 1st January. According to this contract, beta PLC can buy 250,000 shares of John Keel's holding on 31st March 2004 at rupees 250. So suppose that originally it was issued on 1st January 2024, the market price of a share is 240. Alpha issue this option, one option for 2 rupees. That means beta invested 2000 rupees for this financial instrument. Then why beta pay rupees 2000 and get these 1000 options? Beta is not purchasing any share at this point. Beta get right to buy 1000 shares at 250 on 31st March 2024. Here beta expect, the investor, holder of the instrument expect by 31st March 2024, market price of John Keel's holding will be greater than 250 or less than 250. What is he expect? Now this contract give right to buy 1000 shares at 250. So you are investing, beta investing 2 rupees per option. For 1000 option, you invest 2000. So why the beta invest 2000? Beta expect by 31st March 2022 market price of John Keel's holding more than 250 or less than 250. Yes. This is only a right. 31st March, if you want to buy 1000 shares, you have to spend 250,000. Pay and buy. Right? Now you have paid extra 2000 in advance to get this right. So why beta get this right? That's the question. So what is the expectation of beta? Market price of share of John Keel's holding by 31st March would be more than 250 or less than 250. What is that? මේ දවසට market price එක 250 වලට වඩා වැඩි වෙයි කියලා හිතන්න අඩු වෙයි කියලා හිතන්න. More than. Right? Then only, now if the market price on that day 260, then beta has the right to buy 1000 shares. So he can invest 250,000 and buy 1000 shares from Alpha because you have the right. 31st March, Alpha should have 1000 shares of John Keel's holding. Right? Galle තියෙන්න ඕන shares. he should sell those shares. So alpha, beta has a right to buy shares. Then beta can immediately, if they want, can sell at higher price and get a capital gain. So with that intention, that is why you invest. Right? Then after 1 month from this date, the market price of the share of John Keys become 255. Now share price goes increasing. Right? And 250 වලට ගන්න right එකක් කියනවා 31st March. By 1st February, price become 255. Increasing trend. So investors in the market, they observe this behavior. Now they are expecting by 31st March, market price could be much higher. So investor willing to pay much more price for the option. Right? The option එකට රුපියල් 2කට තමයි බීටා ගත්තේ. Beta got the 2 rupees. Sometimes what happens? Beta may not have 250,000 actually buy this share. Then මේ market එකක් තියෙනවා නම් option market එකක් තියෙනවා නම් right? දැන් ඔයගොල්ලෝ කාට හරි ඕන option market එකේ invest කරන්න. Option market එකේ invest කරන්න beta down එක රුපියල් 2000යි. 2 rupee per option. You get 1000 options. By 31st March, he gets the right to buy 1000 shares. But sometimes beta may not have 250,000 in. Beta expect the price will go up. So he can sell the option. So he invests 2000. By 1st February, market price of share increased to 255. So beta sold this option to Sigma. 5 per option. He got 5,000. Yeah. 2000 invest කරා. මාසෙකට පස්සේ 5000 නේද ඒක. It's very helpful. Why Sigma pay 5 rupees? Now at the moment market price 255. So Sigma expect price will increase, not 255, right? 5 into 260, 265. So he will have capital gain. Then by 15 March, that's March here. That's March. The share price now become 265. So more demand for the option. Right? Sigma also invest in the options without having cash to buy shares. So now the option price become 10 rupees. Sigma sell this to Gamma for 10 rupees. So the Sigma invest 5 into 1000, 5000 and sell it to 10 into 1000. Earn 10,000. Sigma not 5,000 capital gain. Gamma keep this. And Gamma keep this till maturity. Yeah, make a maturity වෙනකන් තියලා ගන්න. Now maturity date, assume the increase in trade continue. So this is the maturity date. This is the date, not the maturity. This is the date that option become exercisable. Right? Option become exercisable. The option date, 31st March. Now market price is, now Gamma keep this. Right? Market price 275. May trend එක කොහොමම ගියා market price එක 275. Now what Gamma will do? Gamma will use the option and buy 1000 shares from Alpha. at 250 when the share is traded in the market for 275. So එයාට 10ක් දැන්න ගියා. right? එයා 250 දීලා ගත්තත් එයාට already එයාට කොහොමද 10 ගිහිල්ලා ඉවරයි නේද? ඒක sunk cost. right? මේ වෙලාවේ market price 255. So he should buy. Use the option and buy. Use the option and buy 1000 shares at 250. In a case, suddenly due to kind of some adverse condition in the market, suppose the share price of John Keys already started to decrease. Then they say at a power make aduna 249. Now the market price 249. Then what Gamma can do? Will Gamma invest? Will Gamma use the option and buy 1000 shares at 250 from Alpha? No. From the market when you can buy it for 249. No point of use the option and buy it for 250. If you want, you can buy it from the market. So in this case, this scenario, if the market price decreases, holder do not use the option to buy 1000 shares. Do not use the option. So do not buy 1000 shares of equity. Right? Now this is the behavior of share option. So here you see that option price 2510. This price varies with the increase of share price. अब तो मैं आकर में 265 वाले इंगला 260 वाला अड़ू ना के दमे 249 में 260 वाला अड़ू ना के इतना जो 15th March. Then what will happen to this option price? Option price will decrease. Right? Then මේ දෙවෙනි scenario එකට යනවා නම් සමහර වෙලාවට අනිකත් වෙන්නත් පුළුවන් අපිට. එහෙම වැඩි වෙලා 255 වුණා 60 තව 8 යනවා. පිටුම දැන් share option එකේ option price එක 2510 ඔය විදිහට ගියා. ඊළඟ මෙතනදී මම ගන්නවා 15th March. right? 265 නෙමෙයි 270 වුණා කියලා. මේක 15 වගේ. right? අපි ආග්නි මෙහෙම ගිහිල්ලා 10 වෙලා මෙතන දැන් මේ ප්‍රයිස් එක අඩු වුණොත් මොකද වෙන්නේ? මේ ප්‍රයිස් එක එහෙම යනවා. ගැමා තියාගන්න. නැත්නම් ගැමාගෙන් අපි ගමු ඇල්ෆා බීටා සිග්මා ගැමා මුගියා. right. මෙතන market price එක ආපහු 265 වෙනවා. Then what will happen to the option price? Option price reduced to 5. Right. Right. Point here. Now this scenario, prices are increasing. Market price increasing. ඊළ දිගටම increase වෙනවා. මෙතනදී market price එක increase වෙලා මෙන්න මේ point එකේදී sorry 270 නෙමෙයි මෙතන 260 වුණා. 216 නැත්නම් 255. 8. So when the market price of share start to decrease, option price decrease. Right? එහෙම වෙලා යම් විදියකින් option price become market price of share become below the option price. Then hold of call option. Will use option and buy 1,000 shares. Here, holder of call option will not use the option. මෙතනදී ආ use කරන්නේ option එක. So do not buy 1,000 shares of yours. Right? Because rationally, there's no point of buying share for 250 when the market price is 249. The two scenarios. Any question? The price maker, there's a contract. Now, initially, there are two financial instruments here. Now, we are referring to the derivative. Here, the derivative is the call option. Share එක වගේම option එක කියන්නේ instrument එක. It's a contract. Now, alpha invest 2 rupee per option. Option is a contract. Share certificate එක වගේ option certificate. Right? According to that option, beta has the right to buy 1,000 shares of John Gillis holding equity. To get that right, he pay 2 rupee per option, so 2,000 rupees. So after 1 month, when the market price per share increases, demand for option increases, so option price increases. So beta sold the 1,000 options, 5p each for 5,000 to Sigma. Right? And get a capital gain of 2,000. So the beta's original investment only 2,000 rupees. After that, For 2,000 rupees, he got 1,000 options. That option is a finance, option is the derivative. Then after 1 month, because the share price increases, this option price derived from the share price. That's why we call derivative. When the market price of share increases, option price increases. When the market price of share decreases, option price decreases. So there is a positive relationship between share price and all option. Option is another instrument. Right? Special type of financial instrument. We call it a shares වගේ, debentures වගේ option කියන එකත් financial instrument. Option එක සල්ලි දීලා ගන්න. Right? So call option, investor get always holder of the instrument. Investor has the right. Right? So it is not compulsory to buy. Then සමහර contract තියෙනවා දෙගොල්ලෝ එහෙම වෙනවා ගන්න. එතකොට කීයක්වත් ගන්න. Here the holder has the right to buy. Right? Holder has right to buy. That is why in this case, when the market price become 249, then Jupiter අරන් තියෙන එක රුපියල් 5 ගන්න. Right? When the market price of share is 258. He might thought on this date the price will start to again increase or remains at 258. So he pay 5 rupees. Right? If I find at some 4 rupees කියලා sir. Yeah, 4 rupees දීලා ගන්නවා. එයා හිතනවා right. Market එකේ price එක වඩා කීයක් හරි වැඩිපුර තියෙයි. Right? 256 උනත් ලාභයි නේ. Even it reduced by further 2 rupees by 30%, it remained 256. Right? He invests 4 rupees. Buy from the buy for 250 from the alpha. So the per share cost is 254. But the market price 256, you can sell it for 256 and get a gain. But the market price reduced to 249. So in any case, if the share price reduces below the option price, investor, the holder of the instrument, will not use the call option. Because call option, you have right to buy. Right to buy. Yeah, by 31st March, now normally there are two types of options, right? Some options, the holder get right to buy on a specific day, or some options during that period, right? So if it is during that period, up to that date on any day, holder has a right. But once the option date passed, the right expires. So if you want to buy it, you have to buy it on that date. ඔය American option, UK option කියලා එකක් තියෙනවා. UK option වල තමයි ඔය specific day එක තියෙන්නේ. American option එකේ තියෙන්නේ during that period කියන. හරි. ඒක ඇමරිකාව විතරක් තියෙනවා කියන එක මේක introduce කරපු රටක් මොකද වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. It's globally there. හරි. එහෙම වුණොත් මේ අතර ඕන දවසක පුළුවන්. හරි. But once the option day pass, the right expires. Right. So this is call option. So the opposite of the call option we call put option. Right. Put option. What the opposite of this? Under that, the holder get right to sell shares. Instead of right to buy, holder get right to sell share. Alpha issued 1,000 put option to beta. Under that, beta holder get right to sell 1,000 shares. ඒක alpha company වෙන්නත් පුළුවන් third party වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. ඒතරම් මේ third party එකකට John Deals holding. Shares are John Deals holding. Contract entered by two different parties. Right. John Deals එකටත් පුළුවන් ඕනනම් එයාලා shares එක option issue කරන්න. share company එකකට පුළුවන්. Right. Now alpha issue put option. Holder get right to sell 1,000 shares at 250. So why beta invest අපි තව 2 rupee invest කරලා option එකක් ගන්න 2000 invest. So why investor invest in a put option? Investor expect market price on that date would be less than the option. Like investor හිතනවා දැන් මෙතනදී beta හිතනවා market price by 31st March would be 240. So then you can buy from the market 240, right? Sell to alpha 250. එයා මොකද කරන්නේ? ඊට කලින් දවසේ වගේ shares ටික අරගෙන immediately you can sell. So here what happened? එතකොට දැන් මේ වෙලාවේ අපි හිතමු option price එක ඊට වැඩි 260 තියෙද්දි තමයි මේක ගන්න. Right? 2 rupee ගන්න. 245 වලට අඩු වෙනවා මාසයක් යනකොට. Then you are expecting much more decrease. Right? There's a decrease in trade. So option can be sold for 5. 235. 225. But 220. Now if the market price 220, I mean extreme examples done to understand it, right? You have a right to sell for 250. So මොකද කරන්නේ මෙයා දැන් මේ කිට්ටුව 200 අන්තිමට තියෙන ජුපිටර්නේ ජුපිටර් මේක 15 ගානේ ගන්න දවස් 225ට මාකට් එකේ ෂෙයාර්ස් ගන්නවා කියන එක. 225යි 15 යාට යන්නේ 240යි. මෙයාට දෙන්න පුළුවන් 250. So holder of the put option will use the option and sell 1,000 shares. මේ scenario එක මම මේ විදිහටම යනවා. right යම් විදිහකින් market price එක වැඩි වෙන්න පටන් ගන්නවා. මේ දවසේටම 245 වෙනවා. The 240 වෙනවා. දැන් 5 වලට තිබ්බ price එක දැන් අඩුයි. කොහොම ගිහිල්ලා මෙතන 251 වුණොත් that means you have a right to sell share for 250. But the market price 251. No need of using the right and sell to alpha. For 250 you can sell in the market for 251. Then Jupiter 240 ගානේ ගන්නවා. Right? Jupiter හිතන්නේ මේ price එක වැඩි වුණත් market එකේ 250ට වැඩි වෙන්නේ නැහැ කියලා හිතලා තමයි අපහත් දීලා ගන්න. right? එතන market එකේ වුණත් 244ක් විතර වෙයි. එයා 205ක් වියදම් කරා 249 එයාගේ cost එක 250ට විකුණනවා. ඉබයි. But if the price increases, the market price increases the option price, put option. Holder of put option will not use the option, do not sell. The option shares at 250. Right? But you can sell it in the market for 250. Market price is 251. Share price 251. No point of use the put option and sell for 250. That becomes loss. Yeah, no, yeah, high invest 5,000 you will give up. Then they have a halogan invest market take this year. This side and a put one මාකට් එකේ 220ට අරගෙන නැත්නම් 225ට ගත්තා නම් මේ දවසේම ගත්තා වෙන්න පුළුවන් නැත්නම් ඒ අතර ගත්තා වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Somehow you can sell it for 250. Much higher price than the market price. So use the put option. If the market price above the option price, holder of put option will not use the option and buy. Sell. Okay, you can have this. You should be able to differentiate the two options, call option and put option. So investor invest in a put option when investor expects the market price of a share will decrease and market price of the share at the option date will be less than the option price. And මෙයා ඉන්වෙස්ට් කරන්නේ මෙයා හිතනවා 31st March වල market price එක 240 වඩා අඩු වෙනවා. That is the expectation. With that expectation investor invest in a put option. Right. So you should be able to differentiate put option and call option and identify the relationship. Now here there is a positive negative. Right. Negative relationship between price of share price and put option price of put option. Use the previous diagram and copy paste it. So there's a negative relationship. Call option එකේ positive relationship එකක් තියෙන්නේ. මෙතන negative relationship. Call option එක මයිති කියලා කිව්වේ more than මේකේ adjust කරලා put option එකේ call option එක වෙනස් කරනවා. Something wrong that it is not just Wait, okay. Now you can see the put option, right? Put option, right to sell shares. Right to sell shares. So holder get right to sell shares. එතකොට දැන් share price එක අඩු වෙනකොට තමයි option price එක වැඩි වෙන්නේ. 260 වලට ගත්තා 220 වලට අඩු වුණා. So holder will use the option because our market price 220. Under this option you can sell for 250. Click on this one. Okay, you should be able to differentiate these two financial instruments, right?
This video.
Right. So basically, financial So what we discuss about options, right? Call option and put option. There is another type of financial instrument, derivative financial instrument, forward contract. Forward contract normally you can enter in forward contract in relation to any type of commodity. That's a contract, right? For example, there's a farmer and some other producer, right? Wheat farmer and the bakery. Now, if the market price of wheat increases, that will benefit to the farmer, but disadvantage to the bakery. Right? Now, before harvesting, right, present market price is there, and the future market price is uncertain. If the market price of wheat increases, the farmer benefited, the bakery owner get disadvantage. On the other hand, if the wheat price decreases, market price, farmer get the disadvantage and bakery owner will get the advantage. There's a risk of changing the prices. So two parties can enter into a forward contract. In 3 months' time, the farmer harvests his production. He agreed for a specific price. Transfer, okay, particular quantity, right? 10 metric ton of wheat at 1 metric ton at this price. So price is fixed for a future day. That is a forward contract. Forward contract. So you can sell this contract to someone else. Right? A and B enter into this contract to exchange. Sometimes A now A sell the wheat, B buy. Right? So the market price is say $250. This sorry, in 3 months' time, $250 is the price that agreed. The market price is now $260, right? So the bakery owner, this bakery owner is not in a position to buy because of some reason. He transfers his right to another bakery owner. He will pay some money to buy this contract because now this contract you get the right to buy at $250, but market price $260, right? So this is a derivative. But forward contract are very much customized, rarely transferred. Now we can identify this forward contract in relation to the foreign exchange transaction in Sri Lankan context. Always exporters, importers, they enter in forward contract with the banks regarding the exchange rate. Foreign exchange fluctuate daily. To minimize that risk, right? You place an order. You have to make the payment in 1 month's time, right? You can negotiate with the bank and agree exchange rate, future exchange. Whatever the market price, you are going to make the payment according to that exchange rate. That will reduce your risk. Sometimes you have to pay higher, but you can plan your financial activities now properly because you know that what is your cash out. Right? So people enter forward contract. Future contracts are much similar to options, but related to commodities. And it's not an option, the transaction to take place. Right? There can be futures for like 1 kilogram of gold. Right? You agreed in 3 months' time, 1 kilogram of gold is traded at a particular price. They have a contract. So that contract will trade in the market. When the gold prices increases beyond the price in the future contract as a separate instrument, their price increases, same as option. But the difference here in the future contract also, the both party have agreed. It's no option, right? One party should sell, other party should buy. That's it. The future, the option will not hold it in an option. Yeah, කැමති නම් ගන්න පුළුවන්, කැමති නම් විකුණන්න පුළුවන්, නැත්නම් give up කරන්න පුළුවන්. මේක එහෙම නෑ. Both parties agree. It's a binding contract, right? So the given agreed price, the transaction should take place in the future. That exchange of foreign currencies, interest rates, right? Foreign currencies, Sri Lankan bank, they have excess of yuan. Lanka ඇත්තම පහුගිය කාලේ සිද්ධියක් වුණා ඔය. ලංකාවේ foreign currency crisis එක තියෙන කාලේ government එකෙන් මේ එකපාරටම නිකන් අපේ currency එක පොඩ්ඩක් depreciate කරනවා. Appreciate කරනවා. රුපියල ඩොලර් එක depreciate කරනවා. right? ඒක උනේ ඇත්තටම මේ swap එකක් කරා private bank එකට swap එකක් කරා. They had to make the Indian bank want to make a payment or European country bank want to make a payment to China in yuan. Right? We need to make a payment to European country in dollars. Right? So, if that European bank want to exchange it for yuan, then that rate is relatively higher. Right? So, and in our case, we don't have the dollar, we had the shortage of the dollars also. Right? So, we swapped the payment. So, we made the yuan payment, they made the dollar payment. Like those type of contract. So, these are some little advanced type of derivative. But basically, if you can understand the option, right? So, that means you have the idea about the derivative. So now if I go to the financial asset definition. Yeah. Contract, the equity instrument of another entity. We know that equity instrument of another entity means investment in ordinary shares, financial asset. Contractual right to receive cash. Most of the financial asset gives us contractual right to receive cash. Investment in debentures, investment in redeemable preference shares, investment in fixed deposit, trade receivable, loan receivable, contractual right to receive cash. For contractual right to receive another financial asset from another entity, when you invest in convertible debenture, you have a contractual right to receive shares, not the cash. This Roman number 2, contractual right to exchange financial asset or liability with another entity under the conditions that are potentially favorable to the entity. Now you invest in a call option rupees 2000. Why you invest rupees 2,000 in the call option? You expect market price of a share on this day, the date that option become exercisable, will be higher than the option price. So you can buy at lower rate. So there will be a benefit. So you record the 2,000 that you pay to the issuer of call option as financial asset. Right? That 2,000 investment in call option, rupees 2,000 financial asset. So you don't have a contractual right to receive cash. You don't have equity instrument of another entity. You don't have contractual right to receive anything. You have a contractual right to exchange financial asset. You have to pay rupees 250,000 and buy 1,000 shares. Potentially favorable. You expect the market price of a share is higher than the 250. That is why you invest 2,000. Right? Share transaction option එක ගන්න වෙලාවේ call option එක ගන්න වෙලාවේ investor හිතනවා නම් නෑ market price එක අඩු වෙයි කියලා අපි invest කරන්නේ නැහැ. අපේ expectation එක තමයි potentially favorable. හරි. issuer එක පැත්තේ issuer දැනගන්න ඕනේ investor නේ දැන් අපේ example එක ගත්තොත් alpha beta example එක move the call option, right? Now here that beta has the right. The beta issue alpha issue alpha gets this 2,000 rupees. Alpha should record it as a financial liability, right? Because beta invests with the expectation market price will be higher. So from the issuer's point of view, there's a contractual obligation, contract that there will be exchange of financial asset in the future, potentially unfavorable condition, right? Your financial liability definition. Financial liability, contractual obligation to deliver cash. Most of the financial liabilities are contractual obligation to deliver cash. Debentures issued, redeemable preference shares issued, trade payables, the borrowings, right? Contractual obligation to deliver cash. Contractual obligation to deliver another financial asset, right? Another financial asset, that is where when you issue convertible debentures, you are going to settle it by issuing shares, right? Then contractual obligation to exchange financial asset or financial liability with another entity under conditions that are potentially unfavorable. Potentially unfavorable. Issuer of the call option, he received 2,000 rupees per 2 rupee per option, 1,000 option. So investor invests by expecting the market price will be higher than the option price. So you record this 2,000 as a financial liability. It's a gambling right? If the market price less than the option price, this 2,000 become gain. Charge recognize it to be obligation have the record. So I told you last week when we explained the financial liability definition that one part I exclude, that part will to the right. So that's all about basically we should know about there are so many other areas, right? But considering the syllabus content and coverage, so we covered the basic area of financial instruments. Okay, now you know financial instruments, basic financial instrument, financial asset to one entity, financial liability or equity instrument to other entity. Compound financial instrument, financial asset to the investor, both financial liability and equity to the issuer, convertible debenture. derivative, financial asset to one entity, financial liability to another entity. But the value is derived from some other instrument, right? Then we discuss how to account for basic financial assets, financial liabilities, right? Investment. Financial asset can be fair value through P&L, fair value through OCI, amortized cost. Financial liability also fair value through P&L or amortized cost. Fair value through P&L of financial liability rarely applicable when you keep financial liability held for trading. Then අපි ගත්තොත් ඔය option එක issue කරපු කෙනා options විකිනෙනවා market එකේ right ඒ නිසා ඔය option එක fair value through P&L දාන්න පුළුවන් option එක market price එකට measure කරනවා right most of the financial liabilities are measured at amortized cost. Okay, so this is we should know about financial instrument and okay, we have got the group list. මෙහෙම බෑ මට Excel එකක් ඕනේ. right මේකේ බලන්න කරන්න බෑ. I need Excel sheet of the group. දාලා තියෙන්නේ මේ picture format. Just have the group in Excel sheet like this. ඔයගොල්ලෝගේ group list එක ඇතුලේ සාමාන්‍යයෙන් අනිත් මේ වගේ group members name එකයි simple number එක Excel එකක all the groups then I will allocate the topic and upload to the right? Make sure that upload an Excel sheet right අද පුළුවන් නම් break එකේ හරි කමක් නැහැ දාන්න එහෙම මට අදම මේක lecture එකේ topics ටික බෙදන්න පුළුවන්. The standard you will be allocated, right? So then you can work on the standard. Right? One Excel sheet. ඔයගොල්ලෝ ළඟ ඇතිනේ මේ groups එක Excel එකේ කියවපු එකක්, right? ඒ Excel sheet එක දැන් මම column එකක් දාලා topic එක enter කරන්න right? Just name and registration now, right? Then we are moving to the next topic. Accounting for income tax, right? Right. Now let's come to income tax. According to the tax law of the country, every company they need to pay income tax based on the profit. Normally, the income tax payment made by a business has two parts. You have to pay income tax during the year based on self-assessment, quarterly basis. Because to calculate the total profit for the year, you have to wait till the year end. Right? After the year end only, you prepare the financial statement, you calculate the accounting profit. You make income adjustment to that profit, you calculate taxable profit. But government, all the governments, normally governments, they don't like to wait till the year end to collect the tax. So they encourage companies to pay taxes during the year. So in Sri Lankan context, we have to pay income tax on quarterly basis. First 3 month income tax calculate after first 3 months, pay in the second quarter. Second quarter income tax, self-assessment, not the finalized profit, draft profit, pay in the third quarter. Third quarter tax paid in the final quarter. So normally at end of the year trial balance, there will be income tax paid balance in the trial balance. That is the tax paid under self-assessment. Like if a company pay first quarter 1 million, second quarter 1 million, third quarter 1 million, altogether you pay 3 million during the year. Then the total income tax liability for the year can be calculated as based on the profit, say that is 4.5 million. We have already paid 3 million. Total tax liability 4.5 million, 1.5 million payable. That you debit tax expense, credit, cash, credit payable until you pay. Right? Income tax payable. Next year, first quarter, you pay that. So 4.5 million. If you charge that 4.5 million into P&L as the income tax expense, that is the actual tax paid by the business. Right? The 4.5 million at the time inland revenue they were taxed. 3 million already paid, balance 1.5 million payable, you will pay in the next quarter. But there's a problem. Problem is just when you take an annual report, financial statement, you have statement of profit or loss. Now, statement of profit or loss, you have revenue, cost of sales, gross profit, other income, admin, distribution, financing, up to profit before tax. All these figures are calculated based on accounting standard guideline. We prepare financial statement in line with accounting standard. All these values are standard based calculation. But if you are taking the tax expense, purely the 4.5 million in my example, that is calculated as per tax law. That's not by based on this accounting profit. May profit taken to me of tax given. This is the profit before tax, is the accounting profit. But we don't pay tax on this. We pay tax based on taxable profit. That is calculated based on Inland Revenue Act, tax law. Then if we are deducting the tax expense, except figure that is paid as per the Inland Revenue Act, problem is there's a huge mismatch between all other figures. All other figures are in the income statement, statement of profit or loss based on standard. Tax expense purely based on tax law. There's a huge mismatch. Then this is because there's a difference between accounting profit and tax profit. Because accounting profit based on accounting standard, SLFR, taxable profit based on Inland Revenue Guide. Taxable profit එක 4.5 million වෙනකොට accounting profit එක බැලුවා නම් එන්න ඕනේ 3 million. The 3.5 million. It's a 1 million difference. Now, this difference arises due to two reasons. Some of these differences arise due to permanent differences. That means tax law and accounting standards are different, accounting law different. Some income and expenses are treated for tax purpose and accounting purpose different manner, which is never going to revise. Now, certain expenses are disallowed for tax purpose. Right? Normally, profit calculation, your total advertising expense we deduct. Tax calculation, only 75% of advertising can be deducted. 25% of advertising is allowed. So business ke advertising वलට 4 million spend කරා. Accounting profit එකට අපි 4 million බඩු කරනවා. Tax වලට අඩු කරලා තියෙන 3 million. එනිසා tax profit එක වැඩි වෙනවා. That is a permanent difference, will never reverse. So you can't do anything regarding that. Right? පොතේ වෙනස තිබුණාට අපිට ඒකට මුත් කරන්න බෑ. But some of these differences are temporary. Way that the asset liability is treated for accounting purpose and tax purpose differ. As a result, the profit will differ. For example, we purchase machine for 10 million. Useful life 5 years. Accounting point of view, depreciate over 5 years. 2 million over 5 years. Tax calculation, the depreciation is determined based on the depreciation allowances, capital allowances, that's determined by the inland revenue. Now, plant and machinery took 50% to be depreciated. Then you depreciate 5 million in the first year, 5 million in the second year. That's it. So, tax purpose, you depreciate 5 million first year. Accounting purpose, you depreciate only 2 million. So, tax profit is much lower. So, you are paying lesser tax. But this difference compared to the accounting profit, we are paying lesser tax. But this difference is temporary. Because when you take a 5-year period, accounting purpose depreciation 10 million. Tax purpose also depreciate 10 million. So first 2 years, you are paying lesser tax because your depreciation is more. But third year onward, tax purpose, no depreciation. Whereas accounting purpose, you still depreciate 2 million. So you are paying higher tax from the third year onwards relative to the accounting profit. So we have to make an adjustment for these differences. These differences are called temporary differences. Making those adjustments, we try to match these tax expenses as much as possible with the accounting standard. So you can keep it aligned with the other figures. For that, we make this deferred tax adjustment. The main temporary differences, the example is 10 million asset. Accounting purpose, 20% depreciation, 2 million per annum. Tax purpose, 5 million depreciation, 2 years. Right? 50% depreciate, 2 years. Then the first year accounting profit would be 3 million greater than the tax profit. Like tax or depreciation. Accounting million depreciate. Tax depreciation is 3 million more. So tax profit is less. So you are paying lesser tax. But this difference will create more taxes in the future. Because third year onward, taxable profit would be more than by 2 million each. Right? So this difference we call taxable temporary difference. A temporary difference is another taxable. So we recognize a deferred tax liability for that. මේ වගේම සමහර differences ලක්ෂ අනිත් පැත්තක accounting වලට 25 depreciate කරනවා tax වලට 20යි depreciate කරනවා. So accounting depreciation more, tax depreciation less. As a result, now you are paying higher tax compared to the accounting profit. Later you get deducted. Those are called deductible temporary difference. Deductible temporary difference leads to a deferred tax asset. So we are making some adjustment for the tax expense for these temporary differences, making the deferred tax liability and deferred tax asset. So that is what we are going to discuss. So I will give you a short break. After that, we'll start this topic. Make a complex in your lamai students like a perception again. Make a අමාරු කියලා ගන්න ටොපික් එක. ඒ නිසා මම මේක පොඩ්ඩක් simplify කරලා තියෙනවා. examples ඉස්සර වෙලා deferred tax liability එක set එක දීලා account කරන්න හැටි. ඊට පස්සේ taxable temporary difference එක දීලා ඒකේ liability calculate කරගන්න. ඊට පස්සේ taxable temporary difference එක හොයාගන්න. right. ඊට පස්සේ සාමාන්‍ය practical scenario එකේ ඔය මුකුත් නැහැ. account record එකේ තියෙන තොරතුරු වලින් මේක ඔක්කොම හොයාගෙන deferred tax adjustment එක කරනවා. So step by step we have activities, exercises. Get a short break. Then we start around 10:15 and continue. Oh, issuer has option with the holder. Issuer has the obligation. Yeah. Issuer can't do anything more. Now if you are the issuer, if I got the call option, right? Call option or put option, whatever, I have right to buy or right to sell. You have the obligation. If I ask, you have to either buy or sell. You have no other right. Right? That's why I'm paying you the money. Right. Right. So there are some concepts about this deferred tax. I know that we will go through this using these activities, examples, right? මේ examples වලින් මේකට යනවා.
अपलोड करा दें.
Upload करा है. Okay. Right. Now we will take this activity. So we'll start with the activities, then I'll come back to the theoretical part explanation. Right. Now here we have the activity. Exercise 1. ABC PLC incorporated on 1st April 2020. And income tax paid under self-assessment for the year ending 31st March 2021, 800,000. Total income tax liability for the year estimated as 1,200,000. So rupees 1,000, paid under self-assessment 800, total tax liability 1,200. That means we have 400 payable. No, 800 paid, 1,200 total liability, 400 paid. Then you are given deferred tax liability and deferred tax asset 31st March 2021, 350 and 150 respectively. So there are some taxable and deductible temporary differences. Based on that, calculated deferred tax liability 350,000, deferred tax asset 150,000. Now, asset or liability is measured as at the particular date. Value of any asset or liability given as at a particular date, not for a period. Right? So this is 31st March. Newly started business, so there were no deferred tax liability or asset at beginning of the year. අලුතෙන් පටන් ගත්ත business එක. ඒතකොට අවුරුද්ද මුල deferred tax liability asset නැහැ. So this 350 is a newly created one. 150 also newly created one. So we are going to the accounts. Right? We are preparing the accounts. Right? Right? පස්සේ ඉන්නට පේනවා වගේ නම් ඉස්සරහට එනවා. ඉතින් මීඩියා එකේ කියනවා මොකද මේ දෙකදී right. Here. Right. Now tax paid under self-assessment first year 800. You credit cash, debit tax expense 800. Right. මම දැන් මේක account එක අවුරුදු දෙකකට මේක account එක continue කරනවා. Right. Tax expense account, tax payable, tax liability, tax asset. Right. Then total tax liability for the year 1,200. 800 already paid. 400 payable. That you debit tax expense, credit tax payable. I think you are familiar with these two entries, right? Normal income tax adjustment. You learn even in company financial statement preparation. Tax paid, credit cash, debit tax expense. Then total tax liability for the year 1,200, 800 paid, so 400 payable. That debit tax expense, credit tax payable. Second day. Then you are given deferred tax liability end of the first year 350. So we carried forward this balance, right? There's a deferred tax liability carried forward. 350. So ඊළඟ brought forward liability එක. So there were no opening balance. So end of the year, there is a deferred tax liability carried forward balance carried forward from debit side to credit side. That means during the year, there is a creation of deferred tax liability. So anything that you debit or credit to deferred tax liability account or deferred tax asset account, corresponding other entry should go to the income tax expense account. Right? So you are not passing any entry to deferred tax asset or liability from any other account other than income tax expense account. So if you are crediting anything to deferred tax liability, that should be debited to the income tax expense. If you are debiting anything to deferred tax liability, that should be credited to the income tax expense. If you are debiting anything to deferred tax asset, that should be credited to the income tax expense. If you are crediting anything to deferred tax asset, corresponding debit entry should go to the income tax expense. So හැම වෙලේම deferred tax liability hari deferred tax asset account එකට hari debit hari credit hari වෙනවා නම් යම් amount එකක්. ඒකේ අනිත් entry එක අනිවාර්යෙන් යන income tax expense. Now here we have to credit the deferred tax liability. Deferred tax liability credit කරන්න වෙනවා. Deferred tax liability credit කරන්න. Liability එකක් credit කරනවා කියන අලුතෙන් liability එකක් ඇති වෙනවා. That should debit to the income tax expense. ඒ නිසා අපිට කියන්න පුළුවන් creation of deferred tax liability deferred tax liability එකක් හැදෙනකොට double entry එක තමයි income tax expense debit deferred tax liability account credit. වඩාමලේ. හරි. ඒක මකට නැති වුණත් කමක් නැහැ. Now we had no opening balance. Now closing 350 balancing the deferred tax liability. So that balance would be credited to. බිඳුව තිබ්බ liability එක 350ට වැඩි වෙනවා කියන්නේ අලුතෙන් liability එකක් හැදෙනවා. But you have to credit the deferred tax liability. So corresponding other entry go to the deferred tax liability income tax expense account. Similarly, you were given deferred tax asset. Deferred tax asset 150. Now carrying forward balance again on it. Asset again 150. That become next year opening balance. Yeah. Right. Now there were no balance of deferred tax asset. It increased to 150, means it's a creation of deferred tax. I carry forward. So this new deferred tax liability create, asset create, we debit deferred tax asset. Fourth entry. Corresponding entry go to the income tax expense account. And asset එක debit to run, deferred tax debit to run, අනිත් entry එක යනවා income tax expense. Now, when you balance this income tax expense account, you can find the amount charged to P&L as your income tax expense for the first year, which is 1,400. We actually pay to inland revenue 1,200. That is as per the tax law. But by making adjustment for deferred tax, you charge to P&L 1,400. This tax payable account balance carried forward. මම එක entries ගොඩක් නිසා කෙලින්ම double line ගහලා total එක ගත්තා. right ආය 400 එකතු කරන්න ඉතින් ගෙනියන්න ඕනේ නැහැ right උනෝනේ. only one entry there. That's it. So the first year 2021 income tax expense 1,400. You can show deferred tax asset, non-current asset 150, non-current liability, deferred tax liability 350. මොකද මේ deferred tax කියන එක impact එක අවුරුදු ගානකට යන නිසා අපි ඔක non-current විදිහට තමයි පේන්නේ. Tax payable එක ඊළඟ අවුරුද්දේ settle කරන්න ඕනේ. So you record it as current liability. The creation of deferred tax liability අපි කතා කරා. ඒ වගේම creation of deferred tax asset. Get to the double entry. Creation of deferred tax asset. So deferred tax asset debit. And income tax expense credit. Double entry. That's the first year. Right? 5 entries here we have income tax paid under self-assessment 800, cash credit, tax expense. Tax payable, income tax payable credit, tax expense debit. The deferred tax liability created, deferred tax liability credit, tax expense debit. Deferred tax asset created, deferred tax asset debit, income tax expense credit. Finally, balance of income tax expense account represents the income tax expense charged to P&L, 1,400. Now, second year, you are given tax paid 900, total tax liability 1,250. Last year, income tax payable was fully settled. ඇත්තටම ඊළඟ අවුරුද්දේ මුලින්ම වෙන්නේ මෙන්න මේ 400 ගෙවන්නේ. First quarter එකේ අපි කරන්නේ 400 ගෙවන. What was payable will be paid. Right? Self-assessment වලට යන්නේ මේ දෙවෙනි අවුරුද්දේ පළවෙනි quarter එක ගෙවන්නේ දෙවෙනි quarter. Right? ඒ විදිහට ඔය quarter තුනේ අපි ගෙවනවා 900. That is given. නිසා පළවෙනි entry විදිහට තමයි මේ 400 ගෙවන එක. Then you pay on the self-assessment 900. ඒක ඇත්තටම steps 3කින් යන්නේ. Right? අපි මේ simplify වෙන්න එක entry එකකින් දාලා තියෙනවා. Right? Tax paid under self-assessment. Then total tax liability 1,250. එහෙනම් තව 350 ගෙවන්න තියෙනවනේ. That 350 you can debit tax expense, credit tax payable. 350. ඒක සාමාන්‍ය income tax paid and payable. Now the important thing, deferred tax. End of the second year, deferred tax liability and deferred tax asset as at 31st March 2022. 750 and 350 respectively. Right? 750 and 350 respectively. Right. The quarter. Then 750 when on a deferred tax liability carried forward balance. Make a may out the deferred tax liability then make the total balance. Right. Asset or liability in our balancing. Opening balance 350, increase to 750. So there is a creation of deferred tax liability, newly creation 400. 350 increase to 750, no? Now, aluthen enawa 400. That 400 debit income tax expense, credit deferred tax liability. Similarly, you are given deferred tax asset carried forward balance 350. ඊළඟ අවුරුද්දට යන balance එක 350 කියලා කියනවා. Opening balance 150, it should be 350. So during the year, creation of deferred tax liability is 200. Then 200, you debit creation of deferred tax asset 200. Deferred tax asset debit income tax expense credit. Now you balance this and recognize 1,452 PL. And provision for income tax payable account, we have a balance carried forward. Any question? So this first exercise, what we will focus on the double entry for creation of deferred tax liability and creation of deferred tax asset. When a deferred tax liability create, income tax expense debit, deferred tax liability credit. When the deferred tax asset create, deferred tax asset debit, income tax expense credit. So instead of taking 1,200 as tax expense, now we are taking 1,400 as tax expense after making necessary adjustment for the deferred tax. Right? So 1,200 වඩා 1,400 ඇත්තටම අපි ඉන්ටර්නල් එකට ගෙවන්නේ 1,200. Then why we charge P&L 1,400 to match this in line with the accounting standard? Use 1,200 purely calculated based on tax law. So that 1,200 calculation has is different from the accounting profit. But you can't take based on accounting profit tax expense because there are some permanent difference, which is never going to reverse. So if you make adjustment for the temporary differences, for the reasons between the difference between accounting profit, taxable profit, you get it 1,400 expense. So which is more comparable with other items in the statement of profit or loss, like revenue, cost of sales, admin, distribution, all other items as per accounting standard. This is not fully accounting standard, but it's an adjustment we made to be in line with the standard. Right. Right. Now the first exercise, you are given the deferred tax liability and deferred tax asset. So we just make the double entry and calculate the tax expense. Then after a statement of profit or loss and OCI. For the year ending 31st March 2021-22. Statement of financial position as at 31st March 2021-22. Right? These are the financial statement extracts. Method 10,000. Second year 1,450. Payment is 1,250, but expense 1,450. Right. Right. Then, how do we calculate this deferred tax asset and liability? The deferred tax asset and liability is calculated using very simple formula. Deferred tax liability equal taxable temporary difference multiplied by the tax rate. Deferred tax asset, deductible temporary difference multiplied by the tax rate. Taxable temporary difference multiplied by the tax rate. Deferred tax liability. Deferred tax asset, deductible temporary difference multiplied by the tax rate. Now, next activity, you are given taxable and deductible temporary difference and the tax rate. So you can simply multiply the taxable temporary difference with tax rate. You will get the deferred tax liability. Deductible temporary difference multiplied by the tax rate. You will get the deferred tax asset. Right. Here we have exercise 2. XYZ incorporated 1st April 2020. Again, newly started business. Tax paid under self-assessment 600 first year. Total tax liability 900. Taxable and deductible temporary differences 800 and 450 respectively. Tax rate 30%. Second year, the last year income tax was fully settled. Tax paid under self-assessment 750. Total income tax liability 950. Taxable and deductible temporary differences are 1,200 and 750 respectively. Tax rate 30%. So first we can calculate the deferred tax liability and deferred tax asset. මේකට අපිට working එක හදා ගන්න පුළුවන්. right බලන්න ඕන නම් ඉස්සෙල්ලා forms එක roll කරගන්නත් පුළුවන්. right roll කරගත්තා නම් ඊට යටින් අපිට පෙන්නන්න පුළුවන්. මෙන්න මේ work calculation of this deferred tax liability and deferred tax asset. So we have taxable temporary difference 2021-22. Taxable temporary difference as at 31st March 2021, 800 taxable 22,200. Right. 800,000 rupees. Deductible temporary difference 457. Tax rate 30%. So you multiply the taxable temporary difference into tax rate, you get the deferred tax liability. You multiply the deductible temporary difference into tax rate, you get deferred tax asset. Complete this. So once you have this, the T account is quite straightforward. Right? Now can you prepare the ledger accounts? The medical Kianona, right? Once you get this, you can complete the 3 accounts. 4 accounts as we prepared the previous activity. Income tax expense, income tax payable, deferred tax liability, deferred tax. Right? Calling activity again, here you have the exercise. 2. Right? Can you complete it? Right. This one, tax paid under self-assessment 600, total tax liability 900. Right. Now we have calculated the first year deferred tax liability 240, deferred tax asset 135. So it's 2021 first year. Second year 2021 question. Right. So the cash payment made under self-assessment 600, credit cash debit tax expense, tax payable 300, get credit the tax payable, debit tax expense. Now we calculate the deferred tax liability. First year deferred tax liability balance carried forward 240. That will become the opening balance of next year. So there's a creation of deferred tax liability in the first year 240. So deferred tax liability credit, income tax expense debit. Similarly, the deferred tax asset, the first year carried forward balance we calculate 135. So the next year opening balance 130. That means there's a creation of deferred tax asset. 1,005. P&L, we charge 1,005. So this tax payable balance we can carry forward to next year. 22 opening tax payable. 2022 first we have to pay this last year payable balance. That would be the first entry. Cash credit tax payable debit. In the second year tax paid under self-assessment 750. Cash credit tax expense debit. Total tax liability 950. So 250 payable. 200 payable. Tax expense debit, tax payable credit. Then the deferred tax liability carried forward balance. We calculated that 360. The opening balance is 240. 240 increased to 360. That means there's a creation of deferred tax liability by 120. අලුතෙන් create වෙන ප්‍රමාණය තමයි tax expense එක debit වෙලා deferred tax liability credit වෙන්නේ. The difference. Right. 360 කියන්නේ balance එක year ending. Opening balance 240. So creation is only 120. පළවෙනි අවුරුද්දේ opening balance එකක් තිබුණ නැති නිසා 240 ම create. Same way the deferred tax asset carried forward balance end of the first year 225. 135 increased to 225. There's a creation of deferred tax asset 90. So with that we can find 980 charge to here 980. We can carry forward tax payable account balance of. That's it. right? So then we can have the financial statement extract. So 2021 and 20, 31st March 2021, tax expense 1005. Credit to 98. And the deferred tax asset, deferred tax liability, and tax payable. Those are the balances. For example, provide the financial statement extract. This express how will be the working. This is what you have to show, right? Any question? Okay. Right. Okay. So here we got detail. We have 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 group, right? We can allocate 6 topics. And first group 5 members, second group 5 members, okay. Third group also 5 members. Fourth group 4 members.
So we have changed later. That group we have changed later because they have only 4 members. And there's another group, they have 6 members.
Okay, you can take 1 member from the team, right? Okay. For the moment, I will just allocate like this, right? You can make that interchange and inform me before the presentation, right? And more importantly, the presentation slideshow, you have to show it accurately, right? So there's no issue, right? So මෙතනත් ඉතාම member කෙනෙක් ඉයි, right? Right. Okay. So we take course outline. So I take some of the standards. Okay, so I'll take with LKS 23. Carbon cost is the calculated for the first group. Second group, LKS 24 related party closures. Third group, group 3 environment. Group 4 intangible assets. Group 5 investment property. Group 6 SLFRS for SME, right? So you have 5 members, one person can take about 5 minutes to the presentation. So විනාඩි 25ක් තමයි presentation එකට allocate වෙන්නේ. Right? 6 groups. So the same topic you will prepare a group report as well. Right? The report එකත් මේ topic එකමයි base වෙන්නේ. So weightage is 20% for the presentation. Presentation එක ලකුණු 20යි. The group presentation 20, report 10. Right? Report එක කොහොමද ලියනවනේ. නිසා presentation එක mainly evaluate individual basis. Right? නිසා each and every person should take part of the presentation and you have to present one person at a time. So there can't be one person cannot present twice. Right? Interchange කරන්න බෑ. One after another traditional presentation mode එක යන්න වෙන්නේ. Because you are evaluated individual, right? And I will upload this group presentation template also. And may format එක තමයි ඔයාලා හදාගන්න ඕනේ. පළවෙනි slide එක topic එක තියෙන්න ඕන group number එක. Right? Second slide presentation order එක. පළවෙනි present කරන කෙනාගේ නම තමයි තියෙන්න ඕනේ. Name with initial, registration number. එයාගේ presentation slides පටන් ගන්න slide number 4 වලින්. Because this is the first slide. Topic. It's the second slide. Just show the slide. No need to read the group members name. Right? Third slide, the content. Right? You can just show this is the content we are going to cover. ඒක තප්පර 10කින් 15කින් පුළුවන්. Right? You have to start the standard. First person count for the marking from slide number 4. එයා අපි 4 ඉඳලා 8 වෙනකම් කරනවා. මේක වලට වෙනස් කර ගන්න පුළුවන්. Right? Slide 3ද 4ද 5ද that's depend. Right? හැබැයි එක slide එකක් සමහර try කරනවා එක slide එක මම දැන් කියනවා summarize කරලා text අඩු කරන්න කියලා. It doesn't mean that you just have one slide for present 5 minutes. ඒක අමාරුයි. අදතර audience එක තියාගන්න බෑ. සමහර අය ගොඩාක් content කියනවා එයා කියනවා. ඒක summarize කරලා ගේන්න. Right? So make sure that you have adequate number of slides. කෙනෙක්ට slide 3ක් 4ක් 5ක් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ විනාඩි 5ක්. Only thing you should not include so many text. Right? Text දාන්න බෑ. Text එක වැඩි වුණාම ඒක very difficult for the audience to follow and it's not very attractive. Right? So මේ order එකට තමයි present කරන order එකට මේක හදාගන්න. Can you upload this? We'll rename this one as group assignment topic calculation. මේ assessment කියලා දෙන්න. So, today the second lecture, third, fourth, වෙනවා 3 weeks ගියෝ 6 week ඒ දුන්නොත් 6 week report එක test එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒ 10 යන 3 hours every 4 hours session යන සාමාන්‍ය. කමක් නැහැ. right standard presentation එක නිසා මම මේක දෙන්නම්. Fourth February එන්නේ. ඒක ගන්න බෑ. එම්බු 28 දාන්න. 2 weeks.
The next week we have a quiz for business finance.
දැන් ප්‍රශ්නේ තියෙන්නේ මම හිතුවේ ඇත්තටම 5th week එකට යන්න. 5th week ඔයාලගේ academic calendar එක සති 12කට තියෙනවා. සමහර වෙලාවට ඒගොල්ලෝ schedule කරනවා 10 වුණාට 12කට විතර වගේ බෙදලා. එහෙම වුණොත් නම් අපිට chance එකක් තියෙනවා. අද February 4 නිවාඩුනේ. ඔයිට දැක්කද lectures නේ. විතර ඒක alternative arrangement එකක්. February 11. February 11 වුණොත් report එක 18 due කරන්න. 6 7. right එතන gap එක අඩු කරන්න. right එනිසා report එක standard එකේ basic content එක හදාගෙන යන්න වෙනවා. right so we'll shift fix it on 11th February.
We have 12 weeks.
12 weeks තියෙනවා නේ. ආයෙත් අපිට manage කරගන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ 12 තියෙන ඔය වගේ holiday වටනහම shift කරගන්න. right ඒ නිසා 11th so presentations due on 11th February. Right so before the presentation 10th February you have to upload your PowerPoint presentation to the LMS. right කලින් දවසේ PowerPoint එක upload කරන්න LMS එකට. so those PowerPoint presentation you have to present. right it's a last moment එදා උදේ ඇවිල්ලා වෙනස් කරන්න බෑ. right so I'll upload those things and after present them. right so create a link to upload the presentation by 10th. right so the standards well you have to cover the core area. right standard එකේ core area cover විනාඩි 20ක් ගහලා presentation. දැන් අපි topics වලට කියනවා. the borrowing cost ගත්තාම basically you have to explain what is borrowing cost. right the borrowing cost well accounting treatment එක basically කතා කරන්න තියෙන්නේ. borrowing cost accounting treatment basically you have the borrowing cost charge P&L as expense. borrowing cost relating to qualifying asset should be capitalized. so ඒ දෙක තමයි කතා කරන්නේ. P&L charge කරන එක අපි කොහොමද දානවා borrowing cost කියන්නේ interest එක normally P&L charge කරනවා. මේකේ විශේෂණය තියෙන්නේ capitalization of borrowing cost. වැඩි weight එකක් දෙන්න වෙන්නේ මේ පැත්තට. right the borrowing cost capitalize කරන්න පුළුවන් qualifying asset එක්ක. So what is qualifying asset කියන එක ඔයාලට explain කරන්න පුළුවන්. right? Take examples. It was a capitalization. කොයි වෙලාව when to start, when to stop capitalization. ඊළඟට borrowings වර්ග දෙකක් තියෙනවා. Specific borrowings, general pool of borrowing. Specific borrowings වලට කොහොමද capitalize කරන්නේ? General pool of borrowing කොහොමද capitalize කරන්නේ? You can use numerical examples. The only thing answer should be there. right? Answer එකක් slide එකේම තියෙන්න ඕනේ. Answer එක හදන්න බෑ. board එක use කරලා හදන්න බෑ. මොකද we have limited time and evaluate individual. එක එක විනාඩි 5යි ඊට වඩා වැඩි වෙන්න බෑ. මොහොත් මම සමහර වෙලාවට skip කරන්න තියෙනවා slide. කරලා ඊළඟ කෙනාට එන්න කියන්න. right? Individually you are responsible for the accuracy. දැන් මේක standard so that it should be content accuracy is very important. It's our present කරන දේ standard එකේ තියෙන දේ වෙන්නේ. So you have to be very careful if you are using internet sources. Right? Internet sources වලින් දේවල් ගත්තා කමක් නැහැ. But you have to ensure that it is the correct thing. Because sometimes when you search, you may get some document presentations, right? Some videos, which may explain sometimes the standard previous version. The standard device එනකොට සමහර දේවල් වෙනස් වෙලා තියෙනවා. Make sure that what you are presenting is the correct current standard. ඉතින් හොඳම දේ තමයි standard එක හැමෝම තමන්ගේ group එකේ standard එක download කරගන්න. Then go to the Sri Lanka Accounting and Auditing Standard Committee. SLAASC. Type කරපුවා මේ web link එකට යන්න. Sri Lanka Accounting and Auditing Standard Committee. There when you click on, you have the accounting standard. Right? Auditing standard, accounting standard. Accounting standard committee එකට ගියාම. Then go to view more. Here you find accounting standard. Then මේකේ 2020 වෙනකන් ඒවා ටික තියෙන්නේ මෙන්න මේ accounting standard bound volume එකේ. ඒකට යන්න එපා. right? මේකට ගියොත් 2020 දක්වා ඔක්කොම ටික තියෙනවා. 2020 18 right? මෙතන accounting standard වල ගියාම මෙතන තියෙනවා 2023 latest එක. right? Full set of standard 23. ඔයාලා ගන්න ඕනේ 23. පළවෙනි group එක ගත්තොත් borrowing cost LKS 23. click කරලා download කරගන්න. එතන ගියාම මේක සාපේක්ෂව පොඩි ස්ටෑන්ඩඩ් එකක්. ඔබ ලේසි ස්ටෑන්ඩඩ් එක pages 9 දී right? You can go through. හැබැයි මේකේ content එක තියෙනවා. pages 9 වුණාට මේකේ තියෙනවා present කරන්න. හැබැයි භාගයකට හොඳ comprehensive present කරන්න දේවල් මේකේ තියෙනවා. පුංචි areas calculation තියෙනවා. borrowing cost capitalize කිරීමට දාලා ගොඩක් දේවල් තියෙනවා කතා. right? qualifying asset තියෙනවා. qualifying asset කියන්නේ. එතකොට මේ ටෙක්ස්ට් එක මෙහෙම අරගෙන ස්ලයිඩ් පුරවන්න එපා කියන එක මම කියනවා. ඔයගොල්ලෝ යූස් කරන්න ඕන පුළුවන් තරම් ඩයග්‍රෑම්ස්, ටේබල්ස්, charts ඒ වගේ. then දෙවෙනි group එක ගත්තොත් related party. related party coding standard එක, related party disclosure standard එක. තනිකර. එතන මේකේ ඔයාලට තියෙන්නේ mainly related party අඳුර ගැනීම. what are the related parties? ඒක විස්තර කරලා තියෙනවා. right? then උදාහරණයක් subsidiary එකක් related party, associate එකක් related party. right? ETD වෙන්න පුළුවන්, ඊළඟට individuals වෙන්න පුළුවන්. right? top key management persons related party, main shareholder related party. right? related party ගැන විස්තර තියෙනවා. ඒක වලට පුළුවන් බංගා diagrams වගේ වගේ විස්තර කරන්න එක related party. ඊට related party transactions කියන්නේ මොනවද? related party වල දාලා මොනවද disclose කරන්නේ. right? ඔය ටික තමයි කියන්න තියෙන්නේ. මේක calculations නෑ, examples එන්නේ අර related party අඳුන ගැනීමට අදාළව examples වලින් illustrations වලින් explain කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඊළඟට impairment, right? impairment කියන්නේ write off of asset. Depreciation is a systematic allocation of the cost over the useful life. Impairment means non-systematic sudden write off. So we can see technically the recoverable amount is less than the carrying amount. Right? So recoverable amount එක කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? right? ඒක හොයන්නේ කොහොමද? right? Payable less cost. of disposal or value in use, whichever is high. Because impairment loss එක කතා කරනවා area දෙකක. Individual asset and cash generating. Right? So ඒක cover කරන්න පුළුවන්. Impairment වල reversal උත් තියෙනවා. මම හිතන්නේ මේ පස් දෙනාගේ reversal වලට යන්න අවශ්‍ය නැති වෙයි. Right? ඒක reversal no issue, right? You can cover. හැබැයි at least you have to cover කරන්න ඕනේ impairment කිව්වම impairment concept එක. Impairment හඳුනා ගන්නවා indicators තියෙන්න ඕනේ, right? Every year we don't test for impairment. Then what is impairment test? When asset is impaired, the accounting for impairment, individual asset, cash generating unit. Right? Individual asset වල cost model එකයි revaluation model එකයි යන සමහර වෙලාවට treatment එක වෙනස්. ඒකේ තියෙනවා example පුංචි examples එකක පොඩි calculations එක පුළුවන් තරම් content එක chart diagram tables වලින් යන්න. ඊට intangible asset ගත්තාම right more similar to the PPE. Right? මොනවද intangible asset කියන්නේ examples ටික දීලා right intangible assets measure කරන්නේ cost එකට initial PP වගේ. හැබැයි intangible asset වල cost එක වෙනස් වෙනවා. Based on separate acquisition, business combination, internally generated. So areas තුන යටතේ අපිට cover කරන්න වෙනවා intangible asset එකේ cost එක කොහොමද අඳුරගන්නේ කියන්නේ. ඊට පස්සේ intangible asset වර්ග දෙකක් තියෙනවා. Indefinite useful life, limited useful. Limited useful life නම් amortize කරනවා. Indefinite useful life නම් amortize කරන්නේ නැහැ. මොකද useful life එක නැහැ amortize කරන්නේ. They have test for the annual impairment. Right. So aspect එක කතා කරන්න තියෙන intangible asset කියන්නේ මොනවද කියන definition එකේ ඉඳලා එතන තියෙනවා salary ප්‍රමාණය. Right. ඒකේ තර වගේ initial measurement, subsequent measurement වලට ගියාම example එක පැහැදිලි කරන්න පුළුවන්. Investment property ගත්තම තාපෝ property plant and equipment වගේ. They have defined what is investment property, how it differ from PPE. Right? Then investment property වල examples ටිකක් දීලා then the measurement. Right? Initial measurement, cost model, subsequent measurement, cost model or fair value. ඒ model දෙක අතර counting treat. Investment model එක තව එකක් තියෙනවා transfer from and to investment property. Right? ඒකත් යම් ප්‍රමාණයක් වලට ටච් කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ කියන්නේ PP වල ඉඳලා investment property වලට මාරු වෙනවා. investment property වල ඉඳලා inventory වලට මාරු වෙනවා. inventory වලින් investment property වලට එන්න පුළුවන්. investment property PP වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඔය වගේ transfer වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Right? That aspect you can cover. ඒ ඔක්කොම standard එකේ තියෙනවා. SLFRS for SME අය තමයි standard එක ගත්තොත් ටිකක් ඔයගොල්ලෝ බය වෙන තරම් standard එක ලොකුයි. මොකද SLFRS for SME කියන්නේ තනි standard එක to replace all the standard that we use in case, right? එතකොට ඒක කතා කරලා තේරුමක් නැහැ. The SLFRS for SME group එක උදිනවා. Right? ඔයාලට mainly කරන්න තියෙන්නේ ඒ කියන්නේ SLFRS for SME you can take it here. Sri Lanka accounting standard for SME. Right? මේක හරියට ගන්න තව එකක් තියෙනවා small entities කියලා එකක්. Right? in body level එක. මේ තියෙන small and medium size entities. SMEs. Right? ඒකෙදි full SME standards ටික තියෙන මෙන්න 2015 ටික. ඊට අමතරව මේ amendment ටිකක් තියෙනවා. මේක දැන් මේක download කරොත් දැන් මේක තියෙනවා පිටු 300ක්. Right? මොකද මේකේ තියෙන්නේ අර standards ටික guideline ටිකම තමයි. අපි ගත්තොත් LKS 2 වල තියෙන event ටික ඔක්කොම මේකේ sections කීප එක තියෙනවා. PP ටික ඔක්කොම මේකේ sections වල තියෙනවා. What you are supposed to do, you can have introduction about SME. එතකොට SME කියන්නේ මොනවද? ඒක අයිති වෙන්නේ මොනවද? මුල ටික දාන්න. Then you have to cover the SME deviate from full SLFR. ඒක තමයි highlight කරන්නේ. අනිත් ඒවා as it is Sri Lanka accounting standard. So මේ differentiate කරන ඒවා ටික ගැන ඔය CA එකේ කරපු documents intent එකේ ඕන තරම් තියෙනවා. Right? CA එකේම කරපු documents තියෙනවා, videos තියෙනවා. Right? SLFRS, SME ඒවා කොහොමද වෙනස් වෙන්නේ? full SLFRS වලට වඩා. Right? ඒකේ තියෙන treatment simplify කරලා තියෙනවා. සමහර ඒවා අයින් කරලා තියෙනවා. අන්න ඒ ටික තමයි ඔයාලා touch කරන්නේ. එහෙම නැත්නම් ඔයාලා ආපහු LKS2 එක තියෙන්නේ right cost law වෙනාද whichever is lower කියන්න පුළුවන් IPP cost model right අර ටික ඔක්කොම one by one කියන්න යනවා. ඒතකොට ඒකේ learning point එකක් නැහැ. learning point එක තමයි what are the areas SLFRs for SME differ from full SLFR. ඒ අරනවා අනිත් guideline අර standards වල තියෙන ටික තමයි. අරක ටිකයි තියෙන්නේ. මේක මේකේ ස්ටෑන්ඩ් එකේ හොයලා ටිකක් අමාරුයි. ඔයාලට පුළුවන් ඒක වෙන ડોකියුමන්ට් එකකින් හොයලා අදාළ තැන රෙෆරන්ස් එකේ ස්ටෑන්ඩ් එකට ගිහිල්ලා බලන්න. right. උදාහරණයකට ෆයිනෑන්ෂල් ඉන්ස්ට්‍රුමන්ට්ස් වල fair value through OCI classification එක නැහැ. එතකොට ඒක එතනින් බලලා ඇවිල්ලා මෙතන check කරන්න. ඒ වගේ there are some simplification. ඒ ටික තමයි කවර් කරන්න තියෙන්නේ. okay. Any question? මේ සතියේ ස්ටෑන්ඩඩ්ස් ටික කියවන්න පටන් ගන්න. ඔයගොල්ලෝ ස්ටෑන්ඩඩ් සහ රිලේටඩ් ડોකියුමන්ට්. මම next week එකේ පෙන්නන්නම් ඔයාලට මේ ස්ලයිඩ් සම්බන්ධ පොඩි ගයිඩ් එකක් දෙන්න. right? Based on some previous presentations. Like I will share some of the previous group presentations. Right? Standards related presentations. idea එකක් ගන්න පුළුවන් මොනවද කරලා තියෙන වැරදි මොනවද හොඳ දේ. right? සමහර groups තියෙනවා ගොඩාක් හොඳට well prepared slide. slide එක දැක්කම පේනවා well formatted, well prepared, right? professional slides. සමහර ඒවා තියෙනවා නිකම්ම text එකේ type කරලා තියෙනවා. සමහර කියන්නේ එක එක අය type කරලා තියෙනවා. එක්කෙනෙක් එක font එකක් ඊළඟ slide එකේ තව font එකක්. කියන final formatting කරලා. You can share the task among the individuals, but finally it should be one presentation. Right? ඒක තේරෙනවා නැත්නම් සමහරවිට එකම repeat වෙනවා සමහර. මුල එක්කෙනෙක් කියපු එක මැද එක්කෙනෙක් නැවත කියනවා. මොකද ඔයගොල්ලෝ අතර තිබිලා නැහැ හොඳ communication. දැන් time එකක් තියෙන නිසා presentation එක කලින් හදලා ඔයගොල්ලෝ පොඩ්ඩක් පාරක් practice කරන්න වෙනවා. ඒක තමයි තේරෙන්නේ. නේ flow එක තියෙනවා. You're not repeating the same thing. Right? එකිනෙකට contradictory. ඒතකොට සමහර වෙලාවට සමහර කෙනෙක්ගේ slide එකේ හරියට තියෙනවා තව කෙනෙක්ගේ වැරදි එකක්. එහෙම වෙන්න බෑ. You should not use diagrams, examples using dollars. Right? It be Sri Lankan example. එහෙනම් ඉන්ටර්නෙට් එකේ තියෙන example එකක් එහෙම දාන්න බෑ. ඒක ඔයාලා හොයාගන්න ගානක් වෙන්න. එහෙම නැත්නම් ඒ තියෙන එකක් adjust කරලා ගන්න. right? මම මෙහෙම කිව්වහම සමහර වෙලාවට කරන්නේ ඉන්ටර්නෙට් එකේ තියෙන එකේ ඩොලර් සයින් එක විතරක් අයින් කරනවා. එහෙම බෑ. right? ඩොලර් සයින් එක විතරක් අයින් කරන්න බෑ දැන්. ඉන්වෙස්ට්මන්ට් ප්‍රොපර්ටි කට්ටිය අපි හිතමු ලෑන්ඩ් එකක් ගන්නවා මේ ඩොලර් 10,000. රුපියල් 10,000 ලෑන්ඩ් එකක් ගන්න බෑනේ. රුපියල් වලට කරලා ඒක රුපීස් 10,000 කියලා ගන්නවා. That's not matching. Right? So it is not realistic. In the figures realistic way. Right? Okay. So with that, I'll give you the lunch break. Right? So we'll continue the income tax topic, remaining activities next week. Right?